which includes the friction between the walls and the materials. So, and we derive the expression for the horizontal pressure, uh, and the total frictional force carried by the wall uh, was derived. So this is the load carried by the wall. Load carried by walls. Okay. Today we'll discuss another theory, that is Airy's theory. This theory is based on Coulomb's wedge theory. It is based on Coulomb's wedge theory of earth pressure. Okay, the results of this theory are fairly matching with the experimental results, though the basis of this theory differs from the theory of Jensen's theory. So, results obtained from this theory fairly agree with experimental results. Although the basis for this theory is different from that of Jensen's theory. Now, using Airy's theory, the horizontal pressure per unit length of the periphery and the position of the plane of the rupture can be determined using Airy's theory. You can determine the horizontal pressure per unit length of periphery and the position of plane of rupture can be determined. Now from this horizontal pressure, we can determine the vertical pressure and the load carried by the walls. which can further be used, which can further be used to evaluate the vertical pressure and the load carried by walls. Now, depending upon the plane of rupture, there are two cases. There are two cases. The first one, the plane of rupture cuts the horizontal surface, and this is the case of shallow bin, or we call this as bunkers. Okay, so let us first derive the expression for the horizontal pressure in case of when the plane of rupture cuts the horizontal surface. Second case is plane of rupture cuts the opposite vertical wall. And this is the case of dip bins, or we call this as silos. Means in the first case, the plane of rupture cuts the horizontal surface, and in the second case, the plane of rupture cuts the opposite vertical wall. That is the case of silo. So let us derive the expression for the first case. Plane of rupture cuts the horizontal surface, that is shallow bin or bunkers. As mentioned, this theory is based on the Coulomb's wedge theory. So for that, let us consider a block A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. And let the plane of rupture cuts the horizontal surface AC this angle is, let it be theta, and this is the plane of rupture. Let the diameter of the silo be B. Okay. Let this be point E. Now consider this wedge. Consider the equilibrium of this wedge. Okay, so this is A, this is B, this is E. Okay. Now the weight of the wedge, let W be the weight of the wedge. So whatever the material within this wedge, let the weight of this material be W. Let the horizontal reaction offered by the walls be pH, and the friction due to this between the walls and the material be mu dash into H into pH, mu dash pH be the friction between the walls and the material, and let R be the reaction, and mu R be the friction between the granulars of the material. Okay. And let H be the height of the wedge. This so now consider the equilibrium of portion ABE consider equilibrium of portion ABE so here AE will be equal to H times cot theta, where theta is the inclination of the plane of rupture with the horizontal. Let me write all the terms here. AC is the horizontal top surface, that is this, it is the horizontal top surface. BE is the plane of rupture. Theta is the inclination of plane of rupture with horizontal. B is the diameter of silo. So this is from the geometry. AE is equals to H cot theta, because tan theta is equals to H by B. So this theta will be, this will be 90 minus theta. So AE upon tan 90 minus theta is equals to AE upon this H. So H is equals to AE is equals to H cot theta. Now let EH be the horizontal reaction from wall, horizontal reaction from wall, this pH. Mu dash is the coefficient of friction between the material and concrete walls. This mu dash. So therefore, the vertical frictional force vertical friction force exerted by the wall on material will be equal to mu dash into dh. Let R be the normal reaction or normal reactive force along the plane of rupture, and mu be the coefficient of friction between the granulars of material, and that will be equal to tan phi, okay, where phi is the angle of repose, where phi is the angle of repose. Okay. So therefore the frictional force along the plane of rupture will be equal to mu into R. Okay. This is the frictional force along the plane of rupture, and this R is the normal reaction along the plane of the rupture. Now the weight of wedge W will be equal to the weight of this portion of the material is W, so that will be equal to the area under this triangle multiplied by the unit weight of the material, so that will be equal to 1/2 into AB into AE. This is the area under the triangle multiplied by unit weight of the material. Okay. Now from the figure, AB is equal to H and AE is equal to H cot theta. AE is equal to H cot theta. Okay. So that will be H cot theta multiplied by gamma. So therefore W is equals to H square, or you can write as 1 by 2 gamma H square cot theta. Mark this as number 2. Now consider equilibrium of wedge ABE, okay, and summation of forces, vertical forces sigma FB equal to 0 implies, so here the vertical forces are one is this mu dash into H, that is vertical, then the vertical component of this mu r and vertical component of r. See, if this is theta, then this is also theta. Okay. And this is also theta. Okay. So mu r sin theta, mu dash ph, and r cos theta. So these are all the vertical forces, and they should be in equilibrium since the wedge is in equilibrium. So this implies mu dash ph plus mu r sin theta plus r cos theta minus W, that is the weight of the wedge, this should be equal to 0. So from this you can take the terms containing r on one side, so it will be r times mu sin theta plus cos theta equals to W minus mu dash into ph. So from this we will get r is equals to W minus mu dash ph by mu sin theta plus cos theta. Mark this as number 3. Now similarly, let us take the summation of horizontal forces. So summation of horizontal forces equal to 0. This implies, now we'll take the horizontal components of all the, so the horizontal force is ph, then mu r cos theta, then minus mu r sin theta, minus r sin theta. So these are all the horizontal forces and the wedge is in equilibrium, so summation of all this should be equal to 0. So this implies pH plus mu r cos theta minus r sin theta, this should be equal to 0. So therefore pH is equal to r times sin theta minus mu cos theta. Okay. So we can write r is equals to pH by sin theta minus mu cos theta. Mark this as number 4. Now from 3 and 4 both are in terms of r, so we can equate them. Equating 3 and 4, we get r is equals to w minus mu dash pH whole divided by mu sin theta plus cos theta equals to pH divided by sin theta minus mu cos theta. So I'm simplifying, you will get pH, this is pH, taking the terms containing pH on one side, so you will get pH equals to W times sin theta minus mu cos theta whole divided by mu plus mu dash, this is mu dash, sin theta plus 1 minus mu dash cos theta. See what we have done, we have equated these two with the r, so you can take this term, you can take this term on the left side and this term on the right hand side, and you can multiply them, and on further simplification you will get this expression. Okay, now dividing both the sides, dividing the numerator and denominator by cos theta, you will get dividing by cos theta we get pH is equals to W times this sin theta upon cos theta, it will be tan theta minus mu whole divided by mu plus mu dash tan theta plus 1 minus mu dash. Okay, so this is the final expression of pH. Mark this as number 5. Now we can substitute the value of W. So Therefore pH is equals to W is equals to 1/2 gamma H square gamma H square cot theta. This is the value of the W times this term, that is tan theta minus mu divided by mu plus mu dash tan theta plus 1 minus mu dash. Now you can take this term, taking tan theta minus mu equals to u and mu plus mu dash tan theta plus 1 minus mu dash equals to v. Okay, by taking these terms, your pH will be equal to 1/2 gamma H square cot theta into u by mu, or let us write capital, otherwise it will u and v, so it will be u by v. Now for maximum value of this pH, we have to differentiate this for maximum pH. dpH by d theta should be equal to 0. This implies d by d theta of 1/2 gamma H square cot theta into u by v equal to 0. Here let us do one thing. This cot theta is also multiplied inside, so when you multiply this cot inside, so it will be 1/2 gamma H square into tan theta minus mu whole divided by mu plus mu dash. This cot theta means 1/10, so multiply tan theta here, so it will be tan square theta, and this will be 1 minus mu dash tan theta. So what we will do, we take v is equals to tan square theta 1 minus mu tan theta equals to v. So this cot theta will be removed now. So your expression for pH this will be equal to pH equal to 1 by 2 gamma h square into u by v. So this cot theta will not be there. U by v, u by v equal to 0. So this is constant, so that can be taken out. So 1 by 2 gamma h square is constant, and now differentiation of u by v will be equal to u dv by d theta plus v du by d theta whole divided by u square equal to 0. So substituting this implies you will have u dv by d theta. This term goes on right, it will be 0. So you will have u dv plus, this is minus, minus v du by d theta equal to 0. So this implies u dv by d theta equals to v du by d theta. Now u is tan theta minus mu, and differentiation of v with respect to theta will be 1 minus mu dash into tan theta. So differentiation of tan theta will be sec square theta plus mu plus mu dash into tan square theta. So d by d theta of tan square theta will be 2 tan theta into sec square theta. Okay, this is to be equated on the left hand side. V is 1 minus mu dash tan theta plus mu dash tan square theta multiplied by d theta of tan theta minus mu, that will be sec square theta. Okay. Now on simplifying, see you can cancel out the terms with sec square theta. So finally you will get tan square theta minus 2 mu tan theta minus mu 1 minus mu dash whole divided by mu plus mu dash equal to 0. And this is a quadratic equation in terms of tan square theta. So you can get the value of tan theta solving the quadratic equation, we will get tan theta is equals to mu plus square root of mu into 1 plus mu square divided by mu plus mu dash. Okay, so this is the tan theta. Mark this as number 6. So now substituting the value of this tan theta in the expression of pH, so you will get the total horizontal force total horizontal force per unit length, that is pH, is equal to 1/2 gamma h square. Now you substitute the value of tan theta in the expression of pH. This pH is equals to 1/2 this is phi a. Let us say this is phi a. So pH is equals to 1/2 gamma h square tan theta minus mu upon this. So you substitute the value of tan theta here, you will get pH is equals to 1/2 gamma h square into 1 divided by 1 plus mu square plus mu times mu plus mu dash whole square. Okay, mark this as number 7. Now this is the total horizontal force per unit length of periphery. So you can find the pressure at depth h. So the horizontal pressure at depth h let it be pH, this is small pH, will be equal to dpH by dh. Means differentiating the horizontal force with respect to h, you will get the pressure at any depth h. So differentiating this term with respect to pH, you will get d by dh of 1/2 gamma h square 1 by 1 plus mu square plus square root of mu plus mu dash. So if you differentiate this, the term containing h is this, so it will be 2h, so 2 gets cancelled, so it will be gamma h into 1 upon 1 plus mu square plus mu times mu plus mu dash square. this is your pH, that is the horizontal pressure at depth H. Mark this as number 8. So using this expression, you can find the pressure at any depth H, and the total lateral pressure will be equal to pi times diameter is B, into this pH. So this will give you the total lateral pressure, and the total vertical force carried by the wall due to friction, total vertical load carried by walls due to friction, that will be equal to mu times B times pH into mu dash. Okay, so this is the total vertical load carried by the walls. Now, the condition for shallow bins, that is bunkers, we know that for the condition is H should be equal to B times tan theta. Now you can substitute the value of tan theta here also, so you will get H is equals to B times mu plus square root of mu plus 1 plus mu square divided by mu plus mu dash. Okay, so this is the height up to which the bin will act as a shallow bin. Okay, this is the depth, this is the depth up to which the bin will act as shallow bin, will act as shallow bin, that is bunker. Okay, so this is the derivation for the first case. Still the second case is remaining, in which the plane of rupture cuts the opposite vertical wall. So, and that will be the case of silo. So, but we stop here. In the next class, we'll go through the derivation of the second case. And if you have any doubt in this, we can discuss now. Any doubt in this?